Hi, it's Vernon. Improve My World. One of my colleagues said recently, I really like your book on managing toxicity. And I like the 7 strategies you put out. They're creative, they're different. But I don't really understand the first strategy, because the first strategy is to avoid toxic situations if you can. And that seems to me to be extremely obvious. So really, it's a bit of a cop-out. You've really only got 6, haven't you? And I said to him, well, it's a perfectly valid point that you're making, but you just try and avoid toxicity. It's very, very difficult. When somebody says something to you that triggers you, that angers you, that irritates you, you need a good deal of self-discipline, self-confidence, self-awareness to recognize that that's what's happening and to avoid it if it's not necessary. So, for example, somebody may be doing this surreptitiously. So you're having a coffee, and a colleague comes along and says, "Oh, I'm always get fed up with Joe. He's always late with his work," or whatever, right? You're being led into a toxic situation without realizing it. And the next thing you'll do, because it's the easiest thing, and we'll say, "Oh yeah, isn't that right?" So what you've done is you've actually contributed and being part of a toxic situation that affects somebody else. You just try it as well. Supposing you're driving on the road and a car in front is going very, very slowly and you can't overtake. Right? Well, what happens? You start feeling irritated. Before you know it, you may honk your horn, you may hoot, you get angry, you get cross. Are you aware that that's happening? Are you aware of what's going on? It takes a lot of self-awareness. So it's not that easy. It's theoretically easy to avoid toxic situations and toxic people. You just say, "Oh, I walk away." But how many road rage accidents have happened because people have not walked away? They've been triggered and allowed themselves to be triggered. They are no longer in control of their thoughts. Their thoughts are in control of them. And that's when the problem comes. So yes, it seems really obvious that a strategy to say avoid toxicity if you can seems very obvious, very simple. It is not. It's extremely difficult, and it requires you to know what your feelings are, to understand your emotions, in particular to understand your triggers. And the way to learn to do this is to do it on simple things first. So for example, you're driving along the road, a small road somewhere, and there's a cyclist in front of you, you can't overtake. The natural tendency is to allow yourself to get a bit toxic, to start getting irritated, maybe to hoot. Right? Now what I do in that situation is I just say to myself, that person could be my son or my daughter. It stops immediately. As soon as I've changed the picture, the level of toxicity reduces. Of course I wouldn't want to overtake them. Of course I wouldn't want them to put them at risk. Right? So change the picture, recognize this is happening, create a little space between the toxic situation potential and your response to it. And that's the way to deal with number 1. Start on small things, and then the big things will become much more natural. So when somebody triggers you, you'll recognize this is a trigger. Oh, interesting. I'm starting to react that way. No, I don't want to get involved in that. No, it's not for me. Now, you can't always do that. If you've got a toxic mother-in-law, you may not be able to escape from that, or toxic neighbor, you may not be able to evade it, in which case you go to the other strategies on dealing with it. But strategy number 1 is try to avoid it if you possibly can.